I think the gearing system in DFO is retarded.
We're live. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. So today I have here with me Petite Cat. Some of you know her from Reddit and DFOG server. She's a community advisor. And anything you'd like to say before we start?
Just hello. I'm usually in the background for most of the operations Tiggs mentioned. Um, I participate in the DFOG chat a lot, so you'll run into me every now and then. And yeah, not a lot of people know that I'm community advisor because my IGN does not match my I guess it's Discord ID, Reddit ID. I don't know. Yeah, anyways.
I mistook it because your name was above the community advisors in the global Discord. You weren't under
Yeah.
that category, so I was like, huh, I only see 3.
Yeah. Well, that's because I set it up where the moderator's role for the server is above.
That's fair.
So you wouldn't see me as part of the community advisors.
So let's begin. What exactly do community advisors do? Or better question, what can you and can't you do?
I can pass along your feedback and suggestion for sales and events to the Korean devs, but I cannot expedite your tickets. In fact, you really shouldn't be sending any community advisors your ticket issue unless support has not given you a sufficient response. What I mean by that is, let's say, for example, you get trade locked. A lot of people have been getting trade locked recently, right? And so usually what's recommended is you wait it out and you see how they respond to the ticket. Support is the one that handles it. The community advisors do not touch or see your tickets at all. So what you would do is you wait for the support team to analyze your ticket, your game account, and then see, oh, hey, you were running a macro program or something like that. So we are going to trade lock you as a warning. Don't do it again or you'll get banned for real. Right? That's usually how it goes for first time offenders. And so what I usually tell players is to be patient and they'll lift it and stop using whatever illegal programs you might have running in the background. So you're not supposed to come the moment that you send in the ticket. Like, don't tell me about your ticket or any of the other community advisors until you've gotten support to reply. Now, if time goes by and let's say it's like 2 weeks and you're still trade locked and you don't know what to do and they don't support doesn't respond to you or they automatically close your inquiry, then you go to one of us. You ask nicely, right? Hey, my account is still trade locked after 2 weeks. What do you think I should do? So usually, I think now, I'm not totally sure, but they trade lock you because you don't have two-factor authentication.
You think this, right? This isn't confirmed?
Yeah, this is not confirmed, but in order to encourage people to make their account safer and more secured,
That seems like a roundabout way of
yeah,
enforcing two-step authentication.
yeah, but people still don't do it, and then they get trade locked. There are some other like not very well discussed things that might get your account trade locked. That's for like legitimate reasons and not, oh, you actually use an illegal program. So yeah, trade locking you is the correct thing to do. There was the guy that got trade locked like 12 times in a row, and from what I understood of his situation, like his account was just not secured enough.
Like bad passwords or something?
Yeah, bad password, no 2FA, no, you know, no region lock, none of that. So each time he would go and run things, he would get trade locked, and it's really frustrating, right? Because Like if you've never been trade locked and then you suddenly get trade locked, you're going to find that a lot of things you take for granted starts biting you in the ass because you
Yeah.
can't diss a lot of purple things, right? You can't you can't buy stuff from the auction hall. You can't throw stuff away, so it's very inconvenient.
I haven't been trade locked, but I have been banned.
I can't speak anything about bans either, because yeah. Anyway, I don't. None of the CAs take care of that sort of stuff. It's just
So no tickets are actually of value being sent to the CAs.
nope. We don't see any of that. Let's see. What else do I do?
We briefly
Mhm.
discussed about the non-disclosure agreement. What exactly can you say and what can't you say?
So I can tell you that we talked to a Korean dev, but we can't like disclose
Of
to
what it
you,
was?
yeah, of who it is first of all, and then what we talked about, unless it's like, oh, hey, here's this bug in the game, right? And then I notify the Korean dev. Sorry if you're hearing notification sounds from my end.
I'm not.
Uh,
You're fine.
Okay, okay. Let me start again. So if you have this bug, right, and you send in a ticket, and it's like a really big bug, for example, then I will tell the Korean dev directly, and I'll usually put in the chat like, "Oh, it's been reported," so the Korean devs would know about it existing. And pretty much anything that gets discussed in the DFOG Discord, I'm pretty sure MJ kind of looks here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like the issue is not unknown. That's usually the case. Uh, Despite what you may think, community advisors do not get a heads up on any updates or any changes to the system. Like we were blindsided by the Neo Premium update too. So, or the removal of Neo Premium from the vending
Yeah,
machine.
that ninja patch that upset quite a bit of people. So what does NEPO themselves tell the community advisors? Or is it only down up? Do you only talk to them or do they talk to you?
Uh, it goes both ways, but from my experience, even if they tell us a lot, most of it we can't share anyways. So even if they had tell me, oh, we're gonna release Prey Raid on this date, which they have never done, right? They've never told us when
Okay,
they are
okay,
releasing anything. But even if they were to tell us that, we are we would not be able to share with anybody else.
okay. Has anybody been caught telling people things that they shouldn't have?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Don't name names if that's a bad thing.
Oh, no, no, I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus except myself. Um, so I guess it's kind of public knowledge now, right? And MJ kind of talked about it for a little bit. So I thought I was in the clear, but the storybook removal, that was done in order to reduce memory leaks. I don't know what their reasoning is. I'm not that tech savvy, but apparently I was not supposed to share that. But then the next day after I shared that, MJ was like, "Oh yeah, we had to do it," and then I was just like, "Okay, well, don't scold me for that."
What exactly, like that seems okay to share though. Like how does that affect the player base to remove something that's not in use?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't question. I try not to question any of the
The removes?
decision. Yeah, because like even speaking realistically, like we're not interacting with a dev that's like super high up that can actually make all the decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're part of the Neopol team, but it's like the CEO makes the decision, and we're
Okay,
all
okay,
just kind
okay.
of, yeah.
So how did you get to become a community advisor? What did you do?
So back when I guess it wouldn't be really the first iteration of applications was around, I want to say 2016.
Mm-hmm.
That was when they selected Mech Popping, Cypher, Impresaria, and Doxolove as the four community advisors. So I applied at the same time as them. And then, fast forward 2 years, and, the whole 2 minutes thing happened.
2 years.
Yeah. And for some reason, they, did not make any announcements that other than the whole dismissal of mech popping, they didn't make any announcements about the fact that, oh yeah, there's only two community advisors left. And even then, they didn't announce that it was Necrofancy who is still there. Oh no, actually, I take that back. I think the year after, so 2017, they announced Jono and Necrofancy as the new community advisors.
I have no idea who Jono is.
I believe he is a PvP player. I'm not quite sure. I also don't know how long he served as a community advisor. But I came on around April 2018. So at the time, it was only Imp and Necrofancy.
Mm-hmm.
And they had recommended me to the Korean devs. And they still had my application from 2016. So at least
Dang.
they kept it. So then that's when I became community advisor. But there was no fancy announcement for me. And so I
Wait,
was
who got the
basically,
fancy announcement?
well, not fancy, but just any announcement, right?
Okay, so it just happened, and then you were just, oh, okay, I got
Okay,
this.
yeah. Yeah. Yep. And then I got the community advisor title in game, but no official announcement on the web page.
Probably why I didn't know you were one to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. So for basically a year, nobody knew that I was community advisor. Well, not nobody, but not a lot of people. Until the most recent wave of recruitment with
Forte and Isa?
Isanaki, yeah, Isa and Ark
Arc,
first,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then Necro took a break for personal reasons, and then Forte was brought in.
Okay, fair enough. Would you be surprised if I said I applied?
I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of people applied.
Do you get to see the applications yourself, or only do the devs know?
No, we don't see any of that stuff. We're just normal players like everybody else. We don't have like extra perks on our account other than the monthly CA compensation. Right, that's the only perk
Okay.
we have, and the kind of direct line to the Korean dev. But
Mm-hmm.
technically, everybody in the DFOG Discord has a direct line to MJ, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're not really exceptional there.
Wait, so how you have a meeting once a week, right?
Yes.
How's that like? What do you just discuss about what's going on and then dismiss?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. For NDA reasons, it's not. I can't really go into detail
About what you talk
about
about?
meetings.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's usually just feedbacks and suggestions that the community has on the game, on the events, on sales, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
I'll use my best judgment, and we'll see if it bites me in the butt again.
I mean, I don't think you said anything bad.
No, I don't think I have either.
I mean, if it does, then I'm sorry for posting this.
Oh no, it's okay. It's not your fault. I'm trying very hard to keep strictly in line so that nothing could be used against me.
That's fair, that's fair.
That sounds bad, but yeah. Anyways,
Mm-hmm. How does the community advisor process or going into it work? You just apply and then it just happens?
so you apply, and then they keep your application. And if a community advisor takes a break, like with Cypher and I guess Doxo Love at the time, then the remaining community advisors can recommend other players who have applied. So I think that might have been how Necrofancy and Jono were introduced to the community advisor team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not very sure. I know that that was the case with me being recommended.
So what you're
But
saying
yeah.
is I should make something very bad against you and take your spot.
Yes, but you're also now publicly admitting that you have intention of doing so.
That is the joke. I do not actually intend to.
But yeah, like personal life kind of get in the way of things, you
Yeah,
know. So
definitely.
it's not surprising when you see community advisors are relieved of their post.
Mm-hmm. And how fast does it happen? Like, it's just finger snap?
As far as adding a new member,
Mm-hmm.
let's see. I
You don't
think
get
with
interviewed or anything?
well, I think the application is part of your interview.
Okay.
Uh, they would like before adding you to the team, they would try to communicate to you directly um, to ask you, oh, you know, are you still interested in becoming a community advisor? It really depends on their schedule because the community advisor thing is a very minor part of their operation, right? So like necrofancy actually left a while back, and I don't think Forte was added officially to the team for like, and don't quote me on this is to the best of my memories, he wasn't added for like a few months after. So for a while it was just,
Just three of y'all?
yeah, the three of us.
Okay. I don't know what else to say.
You want to ask me what I do on Reddit?
What do you do on Reddit? Like, what does being a mod for DFO Reddit look like?
So every day I check the mod queues. Mod queues are it's a mod only page where you can approve or reject posts. Now, the posts that end up in mod queues are usually of three categories. One, somebody reported the post for breaking the rules, such as, oh, this guy was being an ass to everybody, right? Because the first rule is to be civil. And
Hmm.
so when I get those kinds of posts, I review, you know, exactly what was said, and then I either ignore the reports and reapprove the comment, or I remove the comment. Uh, the second group is if you are caught by the spam filter. Now, that usually happens for accounts that are recently made
Mm-hmm.
or have fewer than 50 karma in the sub. So, you know, new players that come in and ask questions, most of their stuff usually don't show up on the subreddit until I approve it or another mod approves it. Uh, so because of that, there could be a big latency between when you post and when your posts will actually show up because, you know, we're humans, we have lives. So it takes us a while to get through
Yeah, I'm
the
guilty of
queue.
that. When I first started on Reddit, I posted the same thing multiple times because it was not showing.
Yeah. So please don't post things multiple times because you don't see it posted. Like if you don't see it up. All it does is creating more work for the mods because now instead of having to go through just the one post and approving it, they have to go through all the posts you've submitted in an attempt to get it shown, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just all I ask is when you post on Reddit and your comments don't show up, just be patient while we go through. And then the third camp of people is they happen to use a bad word, uh, which could include anything like slurs or, well, it's mostly slurs. So that would also have to get checked, reviewed, and approved or removed depending on the context, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if somebody is calling another commenter, oh, you're a retard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that comment's going to get removed. But if, for instance, the comment was more like, oh, I think the gearing system in DFO is retarded, right? Nobody is being attacked with this comment, so it would most likely be approved, depending on the rest of the comment, right?
What does
Uh,
witch hunting fall under?
so witch hunting is its own separate rules. So you typically, I think there's a witch hunting stuff on Reddit site wide as well, where you shouldn't put obviously you shouldn't put personal information of whoever you're trying to call out, right? But for ours, the DFO subreddit specifically, we want to black out any names of people that's not you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to call out somebody for hacking in PvP, for instance, right? Because that was topical a few weeks ago, you should have the name of that person,
Blacked out, yeah.
blacked out, right? You can describe them. Oh, I found a hacking berserker in DFO PvP, and that's fine, right? But the more you shouldn't include in-game names is pretty much
Okay.
the deal.
What about the opposite of that? What if you're praising someone, not hunting them?
If you're praising somebody, I don't see
A problem?
an issue, yeah, with
Okay.
naming them. But as the trolls tend to do, they might use that opportunity to harass that person. I don't know if any of them would go through the trouble of doing that, but that's a possibility. You can shout out people in your posts, I guess, like, oh, shout out to Forte for being a cool dude.
Shout out to Forte for being a cool dude. He's really a cool dude.
Yep. Let's see what else. I also like changed the banner on the subreddit. I don't know if it shows on the new Reddit, but it shows on the old Reddit. I really should get around to updating it, but Toby is so cute, so I don't want to replace him.
Agreed. Toby's like probably the best mascot for
Yeah.
DFO.
It's really bad that, or it sucks that the Toby memories were not cut-ins and, instead expiring items
Yeah, for
in
like
the
over a
game.
year.
Yeah,
I feel like
and
I
it's
don't want
just
to pump them. I just want to have
yeah,
them.
like the stupid scrolls from the Bastet event was permanent. Why can't Toby be permanent? What is it?
Yeah. Or have like Toby emotes. More Toby emotes would be nice.
Yes, more emotes in general. Let's see, what else do I do? Not as a mod, but I put up the Arad review thread every 2 weeks or whenever we have maintenance. So that's primarily used to supplement what community advisor duties I have, because it's a great way to get people's feedback on the events and sales. Other than, people posting rants about, oh, this event sucks, there's too much RNG, right? Like, you see tons of those on the subreddit
Or like
already.
this event sucks, all you have to do is just sit here for 5 minutes and then wait for the next hour and sit for 1 minute.
Yep.
What did you think about the event?
The fireworks one specifically or in
Yeah,
general?
just that one specifically.
I don't know how it was in Korea, but it was kind of stupid the way it was implemented here, because I feel like it should have just been the one fireworks viewing for 5 minutes, or if you need to make it a random number like 6 minutes of viewing, then maybe the fireworks
Should have been
should be,
6 minutes.
yeah, right, so that I don't have
So
to.
it would have been just one session. Having two sessions
Right.
was a stupid idea.
That's my personal opinion, right? That's not a reflection on Neopol or the other community advisors. It's just my personal opinion. But overall, I will say that Neopol does listen to player feedbacks. In fact, I think that's a really good way for you to have, I guess, a say in how these events should play out, right? So, for instance, whenever we had that the soap event, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first not the first time, but the second time, where it was like you only could get 10 soaps a day and RNG was like super bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was because of players' feedback, comments, and suggestions that they decided, oh, maybe we should actually make it unlimited soap a day instead of just 10. So it can affect your experience with the game.
So how does that work? So when people offer their opinions and whatnot, you as the community advisors bring it up to them.
Yeah.
So what happens if you don't voice something? It's just they ignore it, nothing happens.
Like, as in you don't give any feedback for the event?
Yeah.
Well, then that is what it is,
Or
right?
say its community advisor had an unpopular opinion on an event, would they have more say?
I can't think of any specific examples right now, but as far as unpopular opinions, we would share them regardless because it's still somebody's opinion, even if it's unpopular,
Okay.
right? So even if, like, the majority of players like the extra antimatters for the current event cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
There could be some guy out there who says, "Oh, this is a lot of antimatter, but what we need more is refined terranium." I guess that's not really an unpopular opinion, but to supplement the antimatter, maybe they should have given out refined terranium too, something like that. But basically, I, for me at least, if I feel it's a valid concern or opinion, I will bring it up, even if it's unpopular.
Okay, so a popular opinion is Disaster Sector 3 is just very booty. What can you do about that as a community advisor bringing that up to a dev?
We have brought that up many times.
And it's
uh,
unsuccessful? They can't change, they won't change?
well, what they decide to do is up to them, right? The dev that we have in contact with obviously don't have that kind of power, right?
Okay.
And so it's up to, well, specifically the Korean director, right? Because he's the one
Mm-hmm.
that's in charge of everything and direction of the game. So I don't know. Maybe one of you can write a community letter in Korean and send it to the director. But
I mean, if it hasn't changed for Korea, it's not gonna change for us, right?
yeah, it might. But yeah, currently it's very difficult, I would say, to get refined terranium to upgrade your gear, even with Prey Normal giving it out. And then you do Luke Normal, and then spend the rest of your FP in DS3. Yeah, it is a grind. And hopefully, the community feedback that they've received will encourage more events that give out more refined terranium.
Yeah, hopefully. Like, those things are life-saving. I guess that's gonna wrap it up with that. Anything you wanna plug?
No, not really. Please, if you have any opinions on the current event cycle or sales cycle, find the ARAD review thread on Reddit and drop a comment.
See, I really didn't know that was the point of that thread. So hopefully that helps clear it up for other people.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me on this, I don't know what to call it, this
Chat with
thing.
the local community advisor.
But yeah, thank you.
Hmm. Have a good day.
I don't want it anymore.
Listen, Kevin?
What the heck?
When I was like in like middle
I
school,
jumped.
like,
I
this
jumped.
J4, but
I
this
jumped
J3 is
into the
J2,
thing
like,
and I
J1.
still get hit out of it? What the heck?
Why they gonna come out
What
with
the
J4 for his
heck?
father? I was like, he sounds boss. Bull King with the Demacia?
No, 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 no.